Welcome to Voices of the Case. In this episode, we want to tell you the story of Gabby Petito, the Vanlife disappearance that shocked America.
Such a haunting case.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're talking about Gabrielle Venora Petito, born March 19, 1999. She was from Blue Point, Suffolk County, New York.
Right, and known online, wasn't she? A YouTuber, an Instagrammer.
Exactly. Sharing her life, this vibrant life, online for everyone to see.
And alongside her was her fiancé, Brian Christopher Laundrie.
Also from Suffolk County, they were childhood sweethearts, grew up together.
Got engaged. It really seemed, on the surface anyway, like a classic love story.
But one that took such a dark, completely unexpected turn.
It really did.
So they had this big plan, a 4-month camping trip.
Yeah.
Across the western U.S. Sounds amazing, right?
The dream trip for many.
They set off July 2nd, 2021, leaving from New York.
In that van they converted, a 2012 Ford Transit Connect.
That's the one, their little home on wheels. And this wasn't just for them, they were documenting it all.
For their followers, yeah. On Gabby's YouTube, Nomadic Static, and Instagram too.
And if you look at those early posts, it's all excitement, beautiful scenery, the promise of adventure.
Total van life goals, you might say.
But then, the last video, it went up sometime in August 2021.
Just 3 weeks before everything went silent. Documented silent.
That makes you wonder, what changed? What happened out there?
That contrast is it's haunting, isn't it? The beautiful journey they shared online against the backdrop of what we now know unfolded.
This trip that was supposed to be a celebration
became the setting for something truly disturbing.
And the first real public sign of trouble, I suppose, was that incident in Moab, Utah, August 12th.
Ah, yes, the police stop. A domestic dispute reported.
Someone called 911, apparently said Gabby had struck Brian.
And when the officers got there, the body cam footage showed Gabby visibly upset.
Very upset. She talked about her mental health struggles, anxiety. It makes you really question what was going on beneath those curated social media posts.
Well, the police report gives us a little window, doesn't it? Laundrie mentioned the pressure of traveling together constantly, arguments increasing.
Both admitted there was a physical altercation.
Yeah, but what's interesting, or maybe troubling, is how the officers handled it. They seem to focus on Gabby's emotional state, her anxiety about being separated from him.
So they didn't file charges, they separated them for the night.
Right. A decision that, faced a lot of scrutiny later. Was it just a mental health crisis, or was it something more sinister, perhaps abuse? Hindsight is 20/20, of course.
Despite that really unsettling encounter, they kept going, headed towards Salt Lake City.
But then another strange turn. August 17th, Laundrie flies back to Florida alone.
Supposedly to collect some things.
Yeah.
And maybe close a storage unit.
That was the story, yeah. While Gabby apparently stayed out west, she posted that YouTube video on August 19th.
And there are whispers around August 22nd that Gabby might have reached out to an ex, maybe expressing doubts about Brian.
That adds another layer, if true. Then Brian flies back, rejoins her on August 23rd.
So they resume the trip, but you have to imagine the tension. Those cracks were definitely starting to show.
No doubt. And then August 24th, there's a report of Gabby staying at a hotel near Salt Lake City Airport.
Alone.
Seems like it. The timeline gets a bit fuzzy there.
Then we had the last direct contact with family. Her mom, Nicole Schmidt, spoke to Gabby on FaceTime, August 25th.
And Gabby mentioned they were heading to Grand Teton National Park, Wyoming.
That same day, her final Instagram post goes up. Another video call shown. Just looks like a normal moment.
But it carries such weight now. You wonder if there are any subtle signs in those last calls, those last posts, anything at all.
Then, August 27th, a confirmed sighting. The two of them together at a supermarket in Jackson, Wyoming, about 2 p.m.
After eating at a Mexican restaurant nearby, apparently.
And that seems to be the last time anyone definitively saw Gabby Petito alive.
Although, there's a mention of digital activity, her laptop being used later that evening, around 8:30 p.m.
Right. What was she doing? Who was using it? We just don't know.
Then the next day, August 28th, Laundrie is reportedly seen alone, traveling without the van near Coulter Bay Village.
And supposedly in contact with his parents around then.
Then August 29th arrives, and this day is crucial.
This is where the eyewitness accounts start coming in. The TikToker Miranda Baker.
Exactly. She and her boyfriend say they picked Laundrie up. He was hitchhiking alone.
Near Grand Teton.
Yeah.
They gave him a ride towards Jackson Lake Dam, dropped him off around 6:30 p.m.
But that wasn't the only ride he apparently got that day. Another witness, Norma Jean.
Yes, reported giving him a ride later that same evening to Spread Creek.
Spread Creek, that location just sends chills down your spine. He's reportedly alone near the exact area where Gabby's body would eventually be found.
What was he doing there? By himself? Without the van?
Unanswered questions pile up, and then August 30th, the timeline gets even darker.
Laundrie starts heading back to Florida. Alone.
And disturbingly, there are reports he used Gabby's bank card.
For gas, right? Along the way.
Yes. And mentions of text messages still being exchanged between their phones, plus a money transfer, $700 from her account to his.
And those texts, the ones supposedly from Gabby's phone to her mother, continuing until August 30th.
It's deeply unsettling. Were those messages actually from Gabby, or was someone creating a false trail, trying to make it seem like she was okay?
We may never know for sure who sent those last texts. It just adds to the whole awful mystery.
Absolutely. The authenticity of those final communications is a huge point of contention.
So September 1st, Brian Laundrie arrives back home in Northport, Florida,
Alone,
with the van,
but no Gabby.
and days pass. Gabby's family can't reach her. They can't get answers from Brian or his family. The panic must have been setting in.
Imagine that dread growing day by day.
Finally, September 11th, after hitting a wall with the Laundries, Gabby's family officially reports her missing.
By which point, Brian had been back for 10 days, living at his parents' house, with the van parked outside.
And his family's immediate response,
Hmm.
lawyer up. Refused to speak directly to police.
That silence was deafening, wasn't it? It just fueled suspicion and made the search for Gabby even more urgent.
The police impounded the van, of course. That van that held who knows what secrets from their final weeks together.
A potential treasure trove of evidence or confusion.
Then, things take another sharp turn. September 17th, the police announce Brian Laundrie himself is missing.
His parents reported him missing, saying they hadn't seen him for a few days.
And this news drops right around the time Miranda Baker's TikToks go viral. The ones about picking him up hitchhiking alone back on August 29th.
Suddenly, he goes from being a person of interest to the absolute focal point. Why did he run?
His disappearance just amplified everything.
Yeah.
The national media attention exploded. Everyone was asking, where's Brian Laundrie and what happened to Gabby?
It completely shifted the narrative. His actions, his silence, his disappearance, it all pointed towards something terrible.
Meanwhile, the search for Gabby pressed on, focused on that Grand Teton area where she was last known to be.
And then, the news everyone feared. September 19th.
Authorities announced they found a body in the Bridger Teton National Forest near Spread Creek.
The description matched Gabby. It was heartbreaking.
2 days later, September 21st, the autopsy confirms it. It was Gabby Petito.
And ruled a homicide.
Confirmation brought this wave of grief across the country, really the world, but also so many more questions. How did this happen?
It answered the where, tragically, but opened up a whole new set of agonizing hows and whys.
The investigation ramped up even more. September 20th, the day after the body was found, the FBI searched the Laundrie home, declared it a crime scene.
Collecting potential evidence, trying to piece together the puzzle.
Then, October 11th, we get more detail from the Teton County coroner, Dr. Brent Blue.
The cause of death,
Strangulation.
just horrific. And the timing, he estimated her death, occurred 3 to 4 weeks before her body was found.
Which lines up chillingly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right around that late August period when all communication from Gabby stopped, when Brian started traveling alone.
It painted such a grim picture of her final moments, underscored the brutality of it all.
So, with Gabby found and the cause of death known, the focus intensely shifted back to finding Brian Laundrie.
The only person who might hold the answers.
Based on what his parents told investigators about places he might go, the search zeroed in on Florida, specifically the Carlton Reserve.
Right, the Miakahatchee Creek Environmental Park near their home in Northport, a huge area, over 24,000 acres.
Swampy, dense, incredibly difficult terrain to search.
A massive undertaking for law enforcement. Days turned into weeks. The search dragged on.
October 20th, there's a development. Brian's parents go out to the reserve with law enforcement.
To an area they said he frequented, a trail that had recently been underwater due to flooding.
And they find something. Items belonging to Brian. A backpack, a notebook, and nearby, suspected human remains.
The scene was immediately secured. The long search seemed to be nearing a somber conclusion.
The very next day, October 21st, the FBI confirms it using dental records.
The remains were Brian Laundrie's.
And then, about a month later, November 23rd, the final piece of his story. The medical examiner confirms the cause of death.
Suicide. A self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head.
So the manhunt ended. The legal case, in terms of prosecution, effectively closed.
But it left this huge void, didn't it? So many questions unanswered about the actual sequence of events. What exactly happened between them in those final days? Why?
The why is the thing that just hangs there. What led to Gabby's death? What drove Brian's actions afterward? His suicide means we'll likely never know the full story from him.
Precisely. He took those answers with him.
Gabby Petito's life, so full of energy and documented adventure, just tragically cut short.
That journey that started with so much hope documented online.
Ended in just profound sorrow, and it left the country really grappling with these haunting questions. What truly happened out there?
What secrets died with Brian Laundrie in that Florida reserve? The full truth just feels shrouded, lost.
I think this case resonated so deeply because it touched on so many things people connect with. Young love, the lure of adventure, the complexities of social media.
Yeah, that contrast between the curated online life and the potential darkness underneath.
And just the heartbreaking reality of violence and how quickly things can unravel.
It's a devastating reminder, isn't it? About vulnerability, about the potential for darkness, and the irreversible nature of violence.
That's it for this deep dive into the sources surrounding the Gabby Petito case. Don't forget to subscribe for more explorations, and we'll see you next time.